Hello friends, welcome to CrackGate CSE, and in this series of database today we will be understanding about the participation and mapping or cardinality in the relationship set. In the previous video we have discussed the ER model and the basics of ER model along with the relationship set and the component which is used in the ER diagram. So before starting this video, I would like to request you all, if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe the channel and press the notification icon or the bell icon so that you can get an update whenever I am uploading any new video. So now let's start with the participation. So participation constant is applied on the entity which is involved in the relationship. So if I am having a ER diagram, then in that particular diagram this participation will be applied on that particular entity which is taking part in a relation, right? So it is of two types. One is total participation and another one is partial participation. So the total participation means that every entity of an entity set must relate to relationship set. So if I'm having any entity E and a relationship set R, then every record of the entity E has to be related with the relationship set. So we'll be understanding this with the help of this example also. So in total participation, the participation has to be 100%. This is what is the meaning of total participation. As the name also suggests that the participation has to be total, that is 100%. What is the meaning of partial participation? Here the participation may or may not be 100%. Here the entities of entity set may or may not relate to relationship set. That means it is not necessary that all the records of a particular entity or a table will taking part in the relationship set. Now let's try to understand this with the help of this example. So we are having this particular ER diagram with employee and department as the entity, and this manages is the relationship. So this is an ER diagram of employee manages department. So here you can see that this single line represents the partial participation and this double line represents the total participation. So how you can identify? You have to just see the lines. If there are two lines, two parallel lines, then it is total participation, and if single line, then it is partial participation. Now how the entities will be related? See, if in the employee table I am having this particular employee table with these entries, similarly I am having a department table with these entries, right? Now I have to find out the table for this particular relation, that what will be the relation between employee and department. So as I already told you in the previous video, that if we are considering two different entities and we are relating with it, then the key of both the entities should take part in the relationship set. So here I am having the key as EID, that means the key attribute is employee ID, and here the key attribute is department ID. That means only these two values will be taking part in the relationship set. So see, so here we are having total participation. That means all the attribute, all the records, all the department ID has to be in managers. That means all the department ID has to be in the managed table because department ID is the key. So here you can see that D1, D2, D3, all the three rows, all the three values for department ID is available here. That means there is 100% participation from this particular entity. So this is why it is known as the total participation, because all the three values are here. Now let's check about the partial participation. So in partial participation I am having three values for the key of employee table, which is E1, E2, E3. But in this E1, E2, E3, here you observe that this E1 and E3, only these two values are here. That means it is not required that all the values of the employee table will take part in this managers relationship. So this is the definition of partial participation. That means may or may not 100% participation. So here some attribute or some records may not participate in this particular relationship set, but if there is a total participation, then all the values for the key has to take the participation in the relationship set. So this is what the meaning of total and partial participation, right? Now let's see the mapping or cardinality of a relationship sample. So what is the meaning of cardinality? The number of times the entity of an entity set, that means the record of the entity set participates in relation, is known as the cardinal. That means how many times a particular entity is taking part in the relationship. So this is known as the cardinality. So the cardinality is mainly categorized in 4 parts, that is one to one, one to many, many to one, and many to many. So this is a 4 type. Now there is one important thing, that the candidate key of a particular relationship set is always based on the type of cardinality. That means if I am relating one to one, then there may be a different set of keys. If we are talking about one to many, then the key for the relationship set will be different. Now let's try to understand all of these cardinalities with the help of few examples, right? So here I took these examples. So first let's talk about the one-to-one mapping. So what is the meaning of one-to-one mapping? One-to-one mapping says that each record of E1 table will be relating with each record of E2 table, right? So this is the relationship set. This is E1, this is E2. One to one. So if there is a single line with arrow, so if there is a arrow, it represents one to one, right? So if there is no arrow, then it represents many. So here we are having arrows on the both sides. That means it is one to one. So if this is one to one, so this particular right hand side value is always related with the even. That means this even entities or the even values will be relating with one values of the particular E2. So what does it mean? That each entity of E1 is allowed to relate with 1 or 0 entity of the relation, right? And what is the meaning of this one? That each entity of E1 can relate with the entities of E2. So this is for the left hand side and this one is for the right hand side. So again I am just explaining it to you once again. What is the meaning of this one? That each entity of E2 is allowed to relate with 0 or 1 entities of E1, right? And this means that each entity of E1 can relate with the each entity of E2, right? So what is the meaning? Let's try to understand this with the help of this table. So E1 and E2 tables are given. Now I have to form the table for this particular relationship set. So I already told you that the key of both the entities will participate in the relation. So A and C will be taking part in the relation. So here it will be A, here it will be C. So this is one to one. That means every value of this particular record will relate with only one value of this particular record because of one to one. So if I talk about A1, this A1 can relate with any one of these value. Any one of these value is either from the C1, C2, C3, C4, it can relate with only one. So let's say it has been related with C1, right? Now if I talk about A2, this A2 cannot relate with C1 because it has been already related. Now so this A2 has to relate with the any one in the rest of the 3. So let's say it is related with C3. Now let's talk about A3. Now this A3 has to be related with this either C2 or C4 because these two are left. So let this A3 is related with C4. So that's it. So here A4 is not included because it is single line, that means it is partial participation. That means it is not necessary to include all the records of E1 in this relationship set. Here also you can see that this is single line. Here also all the records are not necessary to include in this, right? Now because of this one to one, each record A1 is related with only one record of this. Here also this can relate with only one, so C1 is also related with only one. So this means their keys. So how to find out the keys? First of all, let's talk about the number of foreign keys. So how many foreign keys are there? See, two foreign keys are there, one for A, one for C. So number of foreign keys is 2. Now what is the candidate key for R? So what is the candidate key for R? See, here A can also behave as the key for this particular relationship table because A is unique because of this one-to-one mapping, and C is also unique because of this one-to-one mapping. So this C is unique because of this one-to-one mapping, and this A value is unique because of this one-to-one mapping. So the candidate key can be either A or C, right? So this is one-to-one mapping. I hope you got the idea. Now let's understand the one-to-many mapping. So here you can see there is a single arrow, that means 1. Here there is no arrow, that means M. So this is 1, this is M. So what does this one says that? This one says that each entity of A2, this one is related to the opposite side of entity. So this one says that each entity of E2 is or can relate with 0 or 1 attribute of E1. That means C1, C2, C3, C4 can either relate with only one or they cannot relate. That means the value from this particular C attribute cannot relate with more than one attribute of this E1. Now what does this M says? This M says that each entity of E1 relation can relate with 0 or more than one relation. That means there is no restriction if this is relating with this, while this can relate with only one attribute. So here you can see that this was 1 to 1 in earlier example. So this A1 is relating with 1, this A2 is relating with 1, this A3 is relating with 1. Here also 1 to 1, so that's why it is relating with, sorry, this is not right, and this C4 is related to this. Now let's try to find out the table for this relationship set. So here also it will be AC because the keys will take participate, but here this particular even values can relate with more than one values of C2. What does it mean? See, A1 can relate with C1. These values will relate with exactly one value of this particular thing, but this value can relate with more than one. What does it mean? See, A2 can relate with C2 and A2 can also relate with C3. Now see, this C2 is related with only one attribute or only one record of this E1 because of this one. This C3 is also related with only one, that is A2. But if you talk about this E1, so this E1, A2 is related with more than one values of E2. So this is the meaning of M, right? C. So this is one to many. This is related with many and this is related with only one, and there is no total participation. That means there can be some records left out in any of the table. Now how many foreign keys are required? Again, two foreign keys are required because of these two entities, that is A and C. Two foreign keys. What will be the key of this particular relationship set? So here you can see that this A1 C1, their A2 is also not unique. Here C can be a key, right? C can be a key for this particular AC. So what is the candidate key? C, because this C is relating with exactly one or none values, so C will not be repeated. That's why C is a key, right? Similarly, if I talk about the many to one, So the many to one will be same as one to many, just you have to flip this particular diagram. If you put E2 here and E1 here, you will be getting exactly what is many to one. There is no difference between the logic behind one to one, one to many and many to one. So I hope you can do it by your own. There is no difference, right? Now let's see many to many. Again, I am having the same example with same tables and same. See, there is no arrow, and if there is no arrow, that means it is many to many, that is m to n, right? So again, this can relate with more than one values of e2, and this can relate with more than one values of e1. So that means there is no restriction. So if I take both the key values for the e1 and e2 and try to relate it, I can write it as a1 c1 a1 c2, because there is no restriction. This particular attribute of a can relate with more than one values of this e2. Similarly, the e2 values can relate with more than one values of e1. That means a2 c2 a3 c4. So here you can see that this particular a1 is related with more than one values in R, and this particular c2 also you can see that a single value can relate with more than one values of R. So this is how relationship can be formed. So what will be the key in this particular example? Here A and C combinedly will be working as a key, because neither A nor C is able to identify a record uniquely. So the candidate key here will be A, C, right? So I hope you got an idea behind this mapping. In the next video, we'll try to answer some questions which are very important to GATE. So in GATE, they will give you a particular ER diagram, and they will be asking that how many tables or how many foreign keys are required when we minimize this ER diagram, right? So sometimes if we are having this many to many, these two can be taken together, these two can be combined together. So we will be discussing all those things in the next video. So if you found this video useful, like this video, share it with your friends, comment your feedback in the comment section, and thank you for watching. Keep supporting, keep learning. Have a great day.